Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Welcome to another What's for Dinner video. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Christy. I'm currently following the WW Blue program, but on my channel I provide the points for all three programs and I also give calories as well. So in today's video, I'm going to be making Instant Pot sausage and rice. This is a recipe I got from The Typical Mom, which the website is actually, it looks like temeculabloggs.com. I will link it down in the description box below. So I basically used the same ingredients that she did, except with a few minor modifications. For the smoked sausage, I'm using turkey kielbasa. For the cheese, I'm using Velveeta shreds. I know, not the healthiest. And then I think that was it. Everything else I think was the same. When I plug this into the tracker, this comes out to 10 points on all programs, 7 points if you use brown rice and you're on purple. So the only thing I would tell you with that though is this recipe is made based on using white rice, so it may take a little bit longer if you're using brown. This is 6 portions. Now on her website, she gives a calorie count of 238. I'm not sure where she gets that from. When I plug this into my Fitness Pal, I'm coming up with 437 calories. So it's coming out to 437 calories per serving. Like I said, this is gonna make 6 servings. So this is a pretty easy recipe. And the good thing about it is this is another recipe that's pretty much about a $5 dinner, depending on what you're putting in. I am going to be adding some broccoli, so not counting the broccoli as far as the price. Just because I had some broccoli that I wanted to use up, I thought it would be good to throw it in there. But everything else is fairly cheap items. So for this recipe, we are going to need some turkey kielbasa, which is what I'm using. I'm using this turkey kielbasa instead of smoked sausage. The recipe actually calls for 12 ounces. When I built it in the tracker, I put the 13 ounces like this is, and it did bump it up a point. So what I did is just cut off 1 ounce off the end. So I'll just use the 12 ounces of that. You'll also need a can of cream of mushroom soup. You'll need 1 cup of mixed vegetables. I may actually add more than a cup just because there's 0 points. We are also going to need some salt and pepper, 2 tablespoons of olive oil, 1 cup of cheese, which I'm using Velveeta shreds. And if you notice, it doesn't look like it's quite a cup. I weighed it out so that I knew exactly how much, and that unfortunately is what happens. When you weigh things out, sometimes it actually appears to be less. The same thing with the rice. We are gonna need 1 cup of rice. I'm using this white long grain rice, and I've weighed it out, and as you can see, it's doesn't quite come to the top. So that's why I like to try to weigh things out. Somebody asked me why I weigh out in grams, and this is exactly why. Now, you don't have to be that picky. You can just measure them out. It's all gonna even out in the long run. I'm just choosing to do that right now just to kind of get me back on track this year. I didn't have the greatest 2020. All right, the other things we're gonna need is a half an onion, which I've already diced up here, and also 2 cups of beef broth. I did not have any beef broth, but I did have beef bouillon cubes, so I just used 2 cubes and put it on my stove in 2 cups of water and just brought it to a boil. And then you just separate it. I'm gonna need a 1/4 cup in the Instant Pot and then the rest of it later. And that is it. And then you could use salt and pepper to taste, but keep in mind that the turkey kielbasa is salty and also the bouillon cubes are salty too. So I think I'm probably not going to add any salt and pepper besides the pepper that it calls for. First thing I'm going to do is just cut up my turkey kielbasa, and I'm just going to cut it into like half moon shapes. All right. Now I'm gonna get my Instant Pot and we're gonna put it on saute. I'm gonna put in the 2 tablespoons of olive oil. And I'm just gonna let that heat up just for a minute. All right, after that's been heating for a little bit, I'm gonna add the onion and the turkey sausage. Then we're going to just let that cook until the turkey sausage is a little bit brown, like when it starts to brown. All right, while that is sauteing, I've got my cream of mushroom soup that I put in a bowl. I have already measured out 1/4 cup of my broth. I'm actually going to use that to deglaze the pan. And then the rest of the broth, which should be about 1 3/4 cups, I'm going to mix it in with the soup. And I knew that was going to be close. And then just whisk it together, which I'm not going to be able to whisk it. I'm going to have to stir it. I think I'm going to have to probably switch. No, I think I should be all right. Just got to go slow. Patience. All right, once that's nice and creamy, just set that aside. All right. I think we are probably good. So now we're going to shut it off. And now I'm going to add in that 1/4 cup of beef broth. And I'm going to take my wooden spoon and just deglaze the pan. Just scrape the bottom so you get all that goodness off of there. All right, now we're going to add our spices. So I'm just going to add the recipe calls for about 1/8 of a teaspoon of pepper, but I'm also going to add some garlic powder. And I'm just going to kind of add a little bit. I'm not going to add any salt at this point just because, like I said, I think there's going to be a lot of salt on there. I can always add it when it's done. All right, now we're going to add in the vegetables. So I'm going to add in the broccoli. And I decided to just go ahead and use that whole bag of vegetables. So if you are counting calories, the calories are based on just what the recipe calls for, not the extra vegetables and not the broccoli. Just mix all that together. Now we're going to add in the beef broth and soup mixture. And give that a good stir. And now we're going to take the rice and just pour it over the top. We are not going to stir this in. So I'm going to try and pour it evenly. And then we're just going to kind of press it so it's submerged in the liquid. So now just kind of take your spoon and just press it just gently so that it's kind of submerged into the liquid, but not actually stirred down in there. Now we're going to add the top. And now we are going to do pressure cook, high, and we want to do 9 minutes. That is going to take probably about 10 to 15 minutes to come up to pressure. It's then going to cook it for the 9 minutes. Then I'm going to let it just naturally release for 3 minutes, and then I will do a quick release and let the rest of the pressure out. So I'll come back to you when we add the cheese. All right, so it has been sitting here naturally releasing for 3 minutes. So now I'm just going to release the rest of the steam. All right, then after the pressure is released, now just open. And there is going to be a lot of liquid in there, she says. So we're going to let it actually sit for 10 minutes. So as you can see, there's still quite a bit of liquid. So now we're going to add half of the cheese. And just stir it around. Smells good. All right, now we're just gonna let it sit like this for 10 minutes and that will thicken it up. Then I'm gonna add the rest of the cheese and then cover it for 5. All right, it has been sitting 10 minutes, so now actually I'm gonna stir it up real quick first. So it's thickened pretty good. Now just add the rest of the cheese. So now we're just gonna put the top on there, let it sit for 5 minutes just to melt that cheese a little bit, and then we're gonna get it portioned out and see what this tastes like. All right, so I don't know actually why I topped it with the cheese because I'm gonna be weighing this out. So what I'm gonna do is take the entire pot and I'm gonna put it in this bowl and weigh it out to see how much the entire thing weighs so that I can see exactly what a portion is. So I'll just weigh it all and divide that by 6. So I'm going to weigh it in grams just because grams just seems to come out easier. One thing that you could do, honestly, and I think next time I'll do that, is just put the cheese on your individual bowls or on your plate after it's done. Alright, so 1660. So all my mathematicians out there, what's 1660 divided by 6? See if we can do that in your head before I do it on my calculator. But you're going to beat me because I can't even find my app. 276. So now I'm going to take my bowl, plate, whatever you're using, and I'm going to weigh out 276 grams and let's see what we end up with. That's actually, well, that's a little over. So not too bad of a portion, and especially because it's rice, so it should be fairly filling. Now the taste test. All right, here we go. That's actually not bad. I can really taste the Velveeta in it. So I think maybe next time I would just use some regular sharp cheddar cheese. Definitely glad that I added the broccoli. Definitely glad that I added the extra vegetables. I think this is really versatile. You could really make this your own. This would honestly be good with chicken. If you did chicken in it and not the kielbasa, this would be good so many ways. I'm curious how I will feel later. So because it's rice, I'm curious if I'm gonna want a snack later. So that'll really be the test. But the flavor is there. I didn't add salt and I didn't even need to. I definitely didn't need to add salt, so I'm glad I didn't. So yes, I really like this one. So now I'm gonna go clean up my mess behind me. I don't think y'all wanna see me do that. So thank you all so much for watching. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. I'll talk to you in my next video. I'm Christy and I'm planning us healthy.